Have you ever considered what you would do if your heart suddenly failed and you were all alone, with no doctor nearby, no phone in your hand, just you, a racing heart and fear creeping in with every second? It's a nightmare scenario that, regrettably, happens to thousands of people every year. But don't worry, because this video could give you the advantage that could save your life. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 essential no-nonsense actions to take if a heart attack occurs and no one else can help. No fancy equipment or white coat is needed. Just common sense and wise decisions that anyone can make, even in the most terrifying situations. Trust me, the last tips in this video are the ones most people never consider, but they could be your lifeline when it matters most. If you click the like button, this message will be seen by more people who may need it in the future. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so right away and then click the notification bell to ensure you don't miss any of our weekly health insights. By the end, if you're still with me, leave a remark telling me how you're learning and whether you believe we can improve. Type 0 and let us know how we're always becoming better for you all. Let's begin with the most important step of all, learning to recognize the warning signs before things get out of hand. Your best chance of surviving a heart attack is to understand what's happening in those first few moments. The media frequently exaggerates heart attacks. As a result, many heart attacks begin with symptoms so mild you'd think it's just a bad day. Some gas, or maybe stress. A strange pressure in the chest, an odd ache in the arm, and fatigue that just won't go away. This is precisely why people put off taking action, and that delay can cost lives. In real life, however, heart attacks are often more subtle, silent, and far more dangerous. Start with your chest, which is usually where it starts, but it doesn't hurt like hell. Imagine a crushing weight pressing down slowly and steadily across your chest. Some people describe it as a squeezing sensation, like a tight band tightening across your chest. It may come in waves, making you think it's going away, but if it persists or comes back frequently, it's not something to ignore. A heart attack can also occur in unexpected places, such as pain radiating through your left arm or even your right, creeping up into your jaw, or pressing between your shoulder blades. Instead of chest discomfort, women and older persons frequently experience upper back or abdominal pain, which does involve a heavy bloated feeling that is more like indigestion than heart-related. One more warning sign: breathlessness, particularly if you haven't moved or if sitting motionless makes you gasp as if you've ran upstairs. Something's wrong. Add a cold sweat to that lightheadedness. You have every reason to act, whether it's nausea or even an unwavering feeling that something is amiss deep down. Let me give you an actual example. When Richard, a 74-year-old retired electrician, experienced an odd stiffness creeping beneath his collarbone while drinking coffee at his kitchen table, he observed that his palms were sweating and his breath was becoming short. Most people would have dismissed this, but Richard had read about these kinds of indicators before he followed his gut and took the choice that most likely saved his life. Before the body shouts, it whispers. These early indicators are similar to the first drops before a storm. They are easy to miss, but crucial if you know what to look for. If you wait until the big moment to confirm that something is amiss, it may be too late, because muscle damage occurs quickly and some of it cannot be reversed. If you ever experience a strange combination of chest pressure, unexplained exhaustion, and pain in areas like your jaw, shoulder, or stomach, stop everything. Don't try to push it off, and don't assume it will go away. If you have risk factors like high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, diabetes, a history of smoking, or a family history of heart problems, you should be extra vigilant and talk to your doctor. If you're still here and this information resonates with you, please leave a comment so that I know you're still paying attention, and it helps us reach more people who need to hear this. Now let's move on to the next crucial step. Do not wait to see if it gets worse. Do not call your friend or doctor first, and do not attempt to drive yourself to the hospital, because when blood stops flowing to a part of your heart, time is everything. The longer that area is starved of oxygen, the more heart muscle dies, and the lower your chances of a full recovery. Your next course of action should be to call emergency services wherever you live, whether that calls 911 or your local equivalent. Unlike a friend or neighbor, calling emergency responders can begin treatment before you even leave your house. Driving yourself is dangerous. Even if you think you'll make it, symptoms can worsen quickly, and if you faint while driving, you're putting yourself and everyone else in danger. Calling emergency responders is more than just getting a ride. It's activating a rapid medical response system. These professionals bring life-saving equipment right to your door, including oxygen, medications like aspirin or nitroglycerin, and even defibrillators. Vital care. In addition to transporting you, emergency medical services begin stabilizing you as soon as they arrive and notify the hospital en route, so the cardiac team is prepared when you arrive, potentially saving valuable time that would otherwise be wasted on triage. The 78-year-old Linda, who lives alone, had a strange discomfort in her shoulder one evening. A few minutes later, she felt sick and started to perspire. Her first thought was to phone her son, but she recalled a nurse who had advised her to call 911 first, then talk to family after. By the time the ambulance arrived, her chest was constricted and she was having trouble breathing. But since she moved quickly, EMS was able to arrive in time to save her life. Remember that hesitation can be fatal, so if you have any doubts that something serious is happening, don't hesitate and call for help right away. When your heart is in trouble, seconds aren't just seconds. They're the difference between survival and tragedy. Stabilize her with oxygen and medication before things get worse. The crucial moment that separated catastrophe and survival was that one phone call made immediately and without delay. Here's something important to keep in mind. You don't have to be absolutely certain to call emergency service. If your symptoms make it difficult for you to speak clearly or quickly, the professionals on the other end, paramedics and dispatchers, are trained specifically to assess unclear situations. They would much rather respond to a false alarm than miss the chance to save a life. Don't fear. Most modern smartphones, whether Android or iPhone, include emergency features that can be accessed even while the screen is locked. You may call for assistance with a few simple taps and no passcode. Spend some time today learning how the emergency system on your phone operates. It's one of those minor adjustments that can have a big impact, particularly if you live alone or have a known cardiac issue. Additionally, certain phones allow you to store important health data such as your medical condition. First responders can view allergies or prescription drugs without having to unlock the cell phone. Paramedics will be better equipped to provide you with the appropriate care immediately away. If you take this modest step toward preparation, make a list of emergency contacts that is conspicuous and simple to reach. Prescription drugs and any long-term illnesses. In the end, calling for help is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it is an act of courage and self-respect that tells your body, I hear you and I'm not going to ignore the warning. Post it in a location that paramedics are trained to check, such as the side of your refrigerator near your front door, or tape it to your nightstand. If you live in an apartment, a building with a buzzer, or a gated community, make sure you have figured out how emergency services will get to you, and give clear instructions when you call. If at all possible, ask a neighbor beforehand if they would be willing to help in an emergency. Trust your instincts and don't second-guess yourself. That initial call could be the turning point in your life. Let's now discuss your next course of action. One that is scientifically proven to save lives, shockingly easy to use, and widely accessible: eating aspirin following an emergency services call. If you're not allergic and haven't been instructed by a doctor to avoid it, the next most crucial thing you can do is grab a plain, uncoated aspirin tablet and chew it slowly. Don't swallow it, crush it, or mix it with water. Just chew it thoroughly and allow it to absorb while you sit quietly and wait for assistance. This is important because aspirin acts as a fast-acting blood thinner, and time is of the essence. Heart attacks are typically brought on by a clot that blocks an artery that supplies oxygen-rich blood to your heart muscle. This blockage can cause damage that is sometimes irreversible, but aspirin can help slow the growth of the clot, and in certain situations even temporarily reduce its size, allowing more oxygen to flow where it is most needed, giving your heart a fighting chance. Possibility until the paramedics show up. The tablet dissolves and starts acting more rapidly when it is chewed, since it breaks up into tiny pieces. Acetylsalicylic acid, the active ingredient, enters your system considerably more quickly this way than if you were to drink. Not all aspirin is made equal at this time. If at all possible, use a standard uncoated instant-release aspirin. Complete studies indicate that blood-thinning effects can start minutes after chewing. Ideal aspirin dosage is 30. If chewing is your only option, the delayed release or anti-coated forms are meant to be gentle on your stomach but take longer to start working. Fast absorption is more important in life or death situations than stomach comfort. While taking medication on an empty stomach is typically a legitimate concern, in the event of a heart attack, protecting heart tissue comes before preventing mild nausea. Although there is a chance of gastrointestinal discomfort, it is minimal in comparison to the possibility of your heart losing vital blood supply. Therefore, let's make this feasible. Store aspirin in easily accessible locations, such as the bathroom cabinet or nightstand. Your wallet, purse, and glove box in your automobile. Aspirin won't harm you, but it might not function as well if it's expired. Make sure family members know where it is, especially if they live with you or visit you frequently. Take, for instance, Joe, a 72-year-old retired teacher. experienced a wave of panic one morning when he felt a deep pressure spread from his chest to his jaw. However, he remembered his doctor's advice and took the aspirin he had in a drawer near his kitchen table, chewed one, and calmly waited for help. His doctor later informed him that this one action likely lessened the severity of the damage to his heart. Joe left the hospital a week later, but not everyone has that opportunity. This is advised by emergency medical teams worldwide as part of the routine procedure for suspected heart attack. This isn't a life hack, rather it's a tried and true, effective action you can conduct on your own to save time and provide experts with a starting point when they come to me. If this video has been useful to you thus far and you have reached this point, please put 2 in the comment. Your feedback keeps us continuing and enables us to reach more individuals with life-threatening saving knowledge. Let's move on to the next crucial step to protect your heart: staying physically still. After you've called for help and taken aspirin, you must stop doing anything you're doing. Stop moving around the house. Stop unlocking doors and sit or lie down in the safest, calmest place you can find without overworking yourself. Your goal now is to reduce the workload on your heart, which means no unnecessary movement. Your heart is already fighting to survive during a heart attack, and even simple movements like moving from room to room can exacerbate the damage or cause a complete collapse. So what is the best position? Sitting upright with your feet flat on the floor and your back supported by a solid object, such as a wall, a sturdy chair, or a headboard, is best. Maintain your arms relaxed at your sides or in your lap. Avoid crossing your legs or hunching over. This upright position helps maintain blood flowing efficiently without causing your heart to work overtime. If you begin to feel lightheaded or faint, which is normal during a heart event, it's acceptable to lie down, but do so on your left side with your head up. This will help keep your blood flowing and lower your risk of choking if you start to feel queasy or lose consciousness. Here's something you might not expect. It's normal to feel awkward, guilty, or even dramatic in this moment. You might worry that you're overreacting or that sitting still in an emergency makes you lazy. When it comes to heart attacks, this mindset can be dangerous. Avoid lying flat on your back unless paramedics advise it for many people. This position can make breathing more difficult or cause further distress. Being still is a calculated move that lowers your oxygen demand, slows your pulse rate, and gives your body a fighting chance to retain homeostasis. It is not weakness, rather it is intelligence. Alice, who is 81 grandmother, was the first to learn this. When she felt a heavy weight pressing against her chest one morning while preparing breakfast, her instinct was to finish cooking, clean up, and gather herself. However, she remembered her cardiologist's advice to stop everything, sit, breathe, and wait. If she felt like her heart was racing, she dropped everything, sat in her recliner, and concentrated on remaining calm. This probably prevented her from collapsing or worsening her condition until help arrived to make things easier in an emergency. When the seconds matter, you'll be happy you planned ahead and are prepared for the next step. Let me know by leaving 3 comments. Think ahead and find spaces in your house where you can sit or lie down quickly. Keep those areas clutter-free and place a nice pillow nearby. Let's move on to the next step that can literally prolong your life when your heart attack. If you happen to be in a public place when symptoms occur, finding a stable place to rest becomes your next task. If this advice is helping you, your interaction helps this video reach more people who might one day need it. Keeping your posture upright, or at least semi-upright, helps open your airways and lessens the strain on your heart and lungs. Avoid flimsy chairs or stools with no back support because slouching forward can compress your chest and make breathing harder. Instead, find a bench or a sturdy wall to lean against, or even sit directly on the ground if necessary. What matters most is minimizing movement and conserving energy. A reassuring voice in the first few minutes can do more than calm nerves. It can help you stay focused, conscious, and emotionally grounded when panic wants to take over. Remember that sitting or lying down properly while waiting for help is a form of active protection, along with calling emergency services and chewing aspirin. If you're surrounded by people, don't be afraid to speak up and ask for help getting into a safe position. Let them know you may be having a heart attack so they can remain calm and support you. Now that you're developing a trio of life-saving techniques that could decide how soon or whether you recover at all, let's add one more crucial step on the list. Make sure emergency responders have no trouble getting to you. If you've already called 911 and are physically able to move even a small distance, take a moment to unlock the door to your home, apartment, or building. This could save valuable minutes off emergency response time because paramedics will arrive no matter what. But if your door is locked, they might have to force their way in, which means delays, which means tools, which means time you might not have. Additionally, if you're sitting or lying nearby, the chaos of a broken door could startle or injure you further. By unlocking your door beforehand, You completely eliminate that issue so that when the emergency crew arrives, they can enter right away and start treatment without any obstacle. If you live alone, especially in a building with buzzers, security gates or keypads, your heart will have more time for oxygen, medication, and rest. Ask yourself if you can easily unlock the door under pressure. If it's a latch that I can quickly flip. If my house is easy to find from the street. And if the unit number is clearly visible. If the answer is no, now is the time to fix. Some people decide to give a spare key to a trusted neighbor, while others purchase a lockbox that keeps a key behind a coded door and shares that code with emergency personnel services. Medical lock. Let me tell you Paul's tip. Boxes are particularly useful for elderly persons with mobility challenges, or anyone living alone. They are affordable, discreet, and can literally be the reason aid arrives faster. He is 76 years old, a retired postman, and lives in a small condo. One afternoon, he felt pressure tightening around his chest. He recognized the symptoms, called emergency services, chewed an aspirin, and made the wise decision to unlock his front door. It took less than 30 seconds for EMTs to arrive and start treating him. Later, one of the paramedics informed him that those extra 30 seconds might have been the difference that saved his life. Of course, your safety comes first. Stay put and let the dispatcher know exactly where you are if you're feeling lightheaded or too weak to stand. If you're in a house, let them know which room you're in. If you're in an apartment, let them know the floor, unit number, and any entrance code. If you want to go above and beyond, think about getting a smart lock. These can be remotely opened from your phone or configured to allow paramedics emergency access with a temporary code. Only proceed to the door if you are sure you won't collapse or aggravate your condition in the process. Let's make this practical. Tonight, if something goes wrong, can emergency responders get to me quickly? If not, take action right away to change that. Don't wait until a scare occurs to realize that your door is the last thing standing between you and life-saving care. It's a small investment for peace of mind, especially if you live alone or travel frequently. To let me know that you're still watching and learning, put the number 3 in the comments section. Your participation helps spread the word about this video to people who could be in dire need. Someday, let's continue. Your smartphone isn't just for taking selfies or checking the weather. It can be your most vital tool in a medical emergency. If you know how to use it correctly, you could receive better care, communicate more effectively, and possibly save your life if your condition suddenly worsens. 2 features are particularly important: the speakerphone and the medical ID. First, let's talk about the speakerphone. A speakerphone allows you to talk hands-free while staying motionless and saving energy. It also enables you to lie down, sit comfortably, or support your body as needed, without compromising communication. When you call for help, put your phone on speaker. Holding a phone up to your ear requires muscle tension, arm strength, and coordination, things you might not be able to fully control if you're experiencing pain, shortness of breath, or dizziness. An additional advantage: the dispatcher can still hear background noise, your breathing, movement, or even silence if your health worsens during the call and you are unable to talk clearly. This information allows them to assess your status in real time and can direct how they instruct the arriving medical team. Now let's discuss the medical ID feature, one of the most underutilized yet effective features of contemporary cell phones. Is this one? There is a means to enter important medical information, whether you're using an Android or iPhone. Medication for allergies. If you have heart disease, asthma, diabetes, or take blood thinners, put emergency contacts directly into your lock screen. This way, even if you're unconscious, responders can access that information without a password. If you have a pacemaker or allergic to certain medications, record this information. You can set this up in less than 5 minutes, and it could save hours of guesswork during a crisis, direct emergency care, and even avoid harmful mistakes. After seeing this video, take a moment to test the emergency access capabilities and activate your medical ID. It's easy, cost-free, and could save lives. In a crisis, keep in mind, when you're on speakerphone, during a crisis, your smartphone is a command center, not a distraction. If you're still with me and this video is enlightening you about actions you hadn't thought of, leave a comment below. This exchange might serve as the wake-up call for someone else. When something significant occurs, the dispatcher is trained to hear every sound you make, including your breath, voice tone, and even silence. A shift in your respiratory pattern, an extended pause, or a lack of movement might all be warning signs.
These small clues let dispatchers know how serious the situation is, so they can prepare first responders with real-time context before they even arrive at your door. The best part about speaker mode is that you don't have to waste energy holding the phone to your ear or holding it there instead. You can concentrate on breathing, staying composed, and following instructions as clearly as possible. The dispatcher stays with you the entire time, providing you with comfort, guidance, and, to be honest, company. That voice, on the other hand, may be the anchor you need during one of the most terrifying moments of your life. But let's not stop there. The medical ID feature, which is built into both iPhones and Android phones, is frequently disregarded. It is a quick setup tool that can save your life in an emergency and is intended to speak for you when you are unable to. With Android's emergency SOS function, you may access your medical ID directly from the lock screen, and it's linked to the health app. In the emergency information section under settings, you can store all the information that is important to you, including your name, date of birth, blood allergies like penicillin or latex, current medications, health conditions, and even emergency contacts, who should be contacted in case something goes wrong. Now imagine that you've blacked out before paramedics arrive, unable to speak or respond to questions, but your phone can access the vital information first responders need to treat you safely and correctly with just a few taps. Susan, a 79-year-old diabetic with a potentially fatal penicillin allergy. Fortunately, she had previously set up her medical ID without a passcode, so when she felt a sudden pressure in her chest one evening, she called 911 and lost consciousness before paramedics arrived. When they checked her phone, they immediately realized what they were dealing with, avoiding penicillin-based treatments and calling her daughter, whose number was listed under emergency contact. Susan's words after her recovery say it all. "I never imagined something I set up once and forgot about could be the reason I'm still here." That tiny action taken days earlier may have saved Susan's life. It takes fewer than 5 minutes to set this up. First, access your emergency or health settings. Whether you're tech-savvy or not, complete all the fields you can, paying particular attention to your medications, allergies, and who to call. Then enable access from the lock screen. This isn't about technology. It's about giving first responders a head start when every second counts. Your medical ID, speaker, and phone transform your phone into more than just a gadget. It becomes your advocate, lifeline, and voice. If you've read this far and learned anything useful, please leave a 4 in the comments section. Let's wrap things up strong. Step 7 may seem straightforward, but it has incredible power. Your breath in the middle of a heart attack. It seems like everything is getting out of control. One thing you can control during a panic attack is your breathing. While breathing won't stop a heart attack, it can be the difference between remaining conscious and going into shock. Pain clamps down on your chest. Your heart races, and fear surges in like a tidal wave.
By taking control of your breathing, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural calm switch, which keeps you grounded and slows down that runaway stress response. However, panic causes adrenaline, which increases your heart rate, blood pressure, and can even make irregular rhythms more dangerous. Here's a simple method for breathing when everything hurts. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 seconds, allowing your chest to expand. Hold the breath for 1 or 2 seconds, then take a quick break before exhaling. Breathe out gently through your lips for 6 seconds, visualizing the release of tension, fear, and turmoil. Then repeat the cycle, paying close attention to the rhythm. This method, also known as box breathing or diaphragmatic breathing, isn't about taking big breaths. Rather, it's about taking deliberate, quiet breaths. It serves as more than simply a means of maintaining composure. It provides your brain with something to focus on other than pain or stress. One morning, an 83-year-old retired carpenter felt a sharp pain in his chest, followed by a wave of nausea and a feeling that he was out of breath. Fear took over, but he remembered a basic breathing exercise that his cardiologist had taught him. He sat motionless, planted his feet, and began counting his breaths 4 and 6 out repeatedly. This didn't stop the attack, but it kept him stable and calm until the paramedics arrived. Later, his doctor informed him that preventing his body from entering full panic mode might have prevented cardiac arrest. Frank's conclusion: "My lifeline was to constantly remind myself to breathe, remain composed, and resist giving in to my fear." Don't put off learning this ability until you're in a crisis. Make controlled breathing a part of your daily routine practice. While lying in bed, sitting on your porch, or during stressful moments, the more comfortable you are with the rhythm, the more naturally you'll turn to it in an emergency. Breathing won't undo blocked arteries, but it will keep oxygen circulating. It will slow your heart's workload, and maybe most importantly, it gives you back a sense of control when everything else feels out of your hands. So when the chaos hits, call for help, chew the aspirin, stay still, unlock your door. Use your phone smartly and breathe in those first critical minutes. These 7 actions can make the difference between life and loss. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which steps surprised you the most? What's one thing you'll do differently? After watching this video, drop your answer in the comments. Your story might just help someone else prepare too. And if this video helped you, give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and if you want more life-saving tips delivered in a way that's simple and powerful, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Keep alert, be prepared, and most importantly, stay alive. We'll see you in the next